but if you beginning value there at the beginning of the quarter, the pension balance was $141,873,283, and then there was withdrawals for paying the retirees of $2.1 million. And at the end of the quarter, at the end of June, the balance was $146,353,788, and had a return during that 3-month period of 4.66%. Next column over there, just starting at the beginning of the year, and just to kind of go down through that, again, a beginning balance of $139 million at the beginning of the year, $4.2 million of withdrawals during that time, and then again the same ending balance of $146 million with a return so far for the first 6 months of the year of 8.4%. These numbers too, Mike will have, these do not include the ARC payment that came in July. So Mike will have an update number with that in there. And in the bottom right-hand corner, I'll just talk about our allocation for a moment. If you see down the bottom right-hand corner, the cash equivalents, which is cash and money market types of things, is about 4%. Alternative investments, which is primarily REITs, the real estate investment trusts, of 4%. Fixed income or your bonds of 28%, and then your equities of 64% is what that is. So any questions on that at all?
Remind me, what's our assumption?
Equities are between 50 and 60%.
No, the assumption on the return.
7.25, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? And I'll ask you just to go to page 6 if you would. Page 6.
But I did interrupt you. Look, what is the equity range that we're supposed to be shooting for?
Between 50 and 60%, but your investment policy statement says we can be outside of that for a period of time. And again, we have a recommendation to kind of taper that back in a little bit, and Mike will share that with you here in a few minutes as well.
So that's it. Thank you.
That's fine. So page 6, this has just a little bit more history, and again, this report is the report we introduced to you last quarter, which has a little bit, I think, better information. And if you would kind of go halfway over the page, and across the top you see 1 year, 3 year, 5 year, 10-year period. And if you go to the bottom line where it's a bold print down there, and under the 1 year period, this is just going back from July 1st of 2020 through June of 2021. So it's a full 1 year number of 23.19% is the return there. 3 year number is 11.09, as you can see there. And then the 5 year number is 9.77. And then the 10-year number is the 8.43 over the last 10 years. So it gives a little longer perspective as well. Any questions on any of that at all? All right, then Mike has, again, more up-to-date numbers than this.
Yeah, so actually the balance of the pension plan currently stands at $152,593,554. And again, unaudited returns, the numbers that Brett are mentioned there, those are all audited. But right now, based on that number, the performance is at 10.82% year to date. That balance does include, as Brett mentioned, the ARC payment that came in July, and that payment was for $3,874,910. Okay, that's what came in.
So we're current on that.
We have, yeah. So as far as I can tell, this is a high watermark for the pension plan itself. So I think that's kind of nice to note. Certainly those annual payments have helped, and we've also had a pretty good market as well.
Does that improve our standing with the percent of fully funding?
I think the actuarial numbers will reflect that. I think that will improve that. I can't tell you to what extent.
So we're waiting on the actuary to...
Right.
The last actuarial report had us at 83% funded.
Yeah, that was a little low, so I was hoping it was coming up.
Well, it's fantastic compared to what it was.
A little low.
Well, with all the contributions from Cedar Haven and things, it felt low to me, but...
A number of folks retired from Cedar Haven as well.
Yeah, we're about 200 more retirees than we have employees paying in right now.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I
wow.
was going to say.
Numbers are going to sort of
Yeah, we were as high as 86% funded. That
Yeah.
was our peak a couple, maybe 2 years ago. But yeah, the obligations to the fund are growing as
One of the
George
healthiest
has pointed out.
municipal pensions, yeah.
Yeah, at 83%, I mean, that's one of the primary reasons that Standard & Poor's boosted our rating, really in recognition of that. So it's a big part, yeah.
So a couple other things here. The allocation, as Brett mentioned, we are slightly out of line with the investment policy statement by about 4% in equities. We are currently at roughly 64%. So what we're recommending or would like to do is take 2% out of equities and move that over to Uniplan or the REIT portfolio. I think that would be a good move. REITs have been doing fairly well. At this point, bonds are there for safety. We're not getting a great yield on them. We know that. So REITs kind of would be a nice complement to still get some good yield, and they have been growing. So that would take care of 2%, and frankly, the other 2% that we're over, we are frankly looking at bringing in another fixed income money manager that would complement C.S. McKee. Again, the portfolio overall as a whole has grown, and we pretty much have everything fixed income with C.S. McKee. So we're just kind of vetting that out a little bit, seeing if it would make sense. We can find a good strategy that would complement C.S. McKee. So we'd probably like to get back to the board shortly with some thoughts, maybe if it works out for a work session, just to kind of talk through that, if that would be all right.
Yeah.
And then I have one other housekeeping item, which maybe we'll talk about after Kevin speaks. Okay, so I'm going to turn it over to Kevin.
Okay.